welcome to The Papers, Women at the Forefront of Payments, an exclusive video series showcasing the women shaping, leading and transforming the future of payments and fintech. So this series is not about inspiration in theory, it's about practical experience, real challenges and how progress actually happens on the ground. So in today's conversation, we are joined by Miriam Wohlfarth, founder and the Co-CEO of Banxware. Miriam, thank you for joining us today.
Oh, Oana, thanks a lot for the invitation. Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Great. So to begin, Miriam, could you please introduce yourself and share a bit about your role and what your work focuses on day to day, please?
Okay, so hello, I'm Miriam Wohlfarth. I'm co-founder of Banxware, which is an embedded finance startup from Berlin. And I do that since 6 years. Before that, I'm always the founder of RatePay, which is a buy now, pay later company in Germany mostly. I founded that in 2009, so almost 17 years ago. And before that, I was always in the payments industry since a long time, working for a company called Bibit Global Payment Services, which was actually founded by the founders that later started Adyen. So there is a long history in payments in my life, and I always loved it very much. Today at Banxware, I do mostly sales and marketing and communication and these things. And I have a great co-founder, and I'm happy to be here. Thanks a lot for the invitation again.
Thank you. And can I ask what drew you to the payments and fintech industry, and maybe what made you want to stay?
Actually, I came there by an incident, so it was not planned that I go into the payments industry, because back then, I'm talking about the year 2000, so a very, very long time ago. Maybe some of the listeners were not even born at that time. So at that time, internet payment was not something that was like normal or around. It was really something that was in a very nerdy and edge case. Let's say it like this. I came across these founders of Bibit on an incident, because I worked actually in the travel industry and had to do with airlines that were going to sell their tickets online. And this is how we got in contact in a way. It's a long story, so I try to keep it short, but this is how we met actually under this, let's say, with these things going on. And I really, I got really, really inspired by these founder guys, because I never had something like this. It was a new kind of work for me, this kind of startup environment where young people go together, have an idea, be really, really, energetic about it, and they had such a passion to do this, and this really turned me on. It put me on fire, and I wanted to join them. So that is how I ended there at the end, and it became my destiny in a way. So I always liked it very much, because also looking back these many, many years, there was always continuously change. I had never a boring life and a boring job. So that was really great. And I still like it very much. So today it's not so much about payments anymore. It's more indirect, but it's fintech. And for me, it sometimes goes together a lot, payment and banking. So I also co-founded, by the way, a company called Payment and Banking. That is a blog in Germany doing also infos about payments and banking. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. And if you could go back and give your younger self starting out in payments one piece of advice, what would it be?
Maybe it would be go for it earlier, when you have the feeling, and don't hesitate so long. So it took me a while till I really took the decision. I go there and I become a founder by myself. I mean, I really admired it when I saw them already, but it took me then 9 years to really make the decision to go for it, because I grew up in a way that there was not really, entrepreneurship was not really an option in my mind. I grew up in a normal environment, and nobody in my family was an entrepreneur. And when you don't really see it, it's difficult to become it. But I would say, do it earlier. When you have an idea, go for it and try it. Because what is it that you can lose? It's nothing really bad, and it's a great experience. And also, I think it's very good for your self-esteem, for everything, for becoming a professional in every job. It helps you a lot when you once tried it to become an entrepreneur. So do it earlier.
Okay, thank you. And what's a problem in payments that you think is being overlooked right now?
So I still think that the B2B payment space is not really solved yet. I think that there are huge gaps, and I think if I would build a startup now in payments, I would go in this area because I think there is a huge blind spot that you could really change in a way of how you make processes better, how you can automate things, and there is still, I think this is really not really solved today.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And before we close, what's the best piece of career advice you've ever received, or maybe wish you'd received earlier?
It was not really a career advice as such. It was actually probably something that changed my mind or my thinking. That was a question somebody asked me when I was my younger me. So when I was, after school, I went to university and I was not really happy there. And I met a professional sports guy at that time. I was quite young, and I was complaining, I don't like my university. I don't like this. I'm stuck. And he said to me, so what would you do if you would be totally free? Then I said to him, yeah, then I would do something else. I would go and travel. I would try to find out who I am and what I'm good at. And he said, why don't you do it? And that was, it is something, actually, it's a very simple question on the one hand, but I never thought this question, or I never had this question, or never questioned me before. And this really changed something. It made me take a big step. Yeah, that helped me a lot. And it helped me later as well by, let's say, making the decision to quit the industry, from travel industry to payments industry. I was working in a corporate environment, in a very safe job, and I went to this startup which nobody knew, and everybody said to me, well, startup, a small company that nobody knows, why do you go there? We work for Hapag-Lloyd, which is a well-known brand. And I said, yeah, it just feels that it's the right thing. And that was the question, because the question I asked me to make this decision, in order to make this big change, I asked, okay, if I would be totally free of anybody saying to me, is this good or bad? All the people that tell you if this is something you should do or not. If you really have the feeling that it feels good for you, then go for it. Yeah.
Amazing.
It changed my life. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a great piece of advice, and thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
Okay, I think that brings us to the end of this episode. Thank you for sharing your insights and for being part of this conversation, Miriam.
Thanks a lot, Oana, and have a nice day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.